Good afternoon, everybody. Jonathan, Las Vegas Collectibles. First of all, thank you for all the support over the last couple of days. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much. There is a winner. The person who won is Michael Baker. My wife actually chose a number randomly, and Michael Baker did comment and subscribe to the channel. So thank you so much for your support. And because of that, you will actually be the person who gets every single card in this Commander booster. I will be opening it this weekend. I'm going to click on YouTube Live. I have no idea if that's going to work. I've never done that before. Do a little test run before that happens. But every single card in that booster is yours. I'll be filming the whole thing, and so that way everybody can see what you want. So congratulations and thank you for your support. Now, on to this topic about is Magic the Gathering, is WOTC, is Hasbro destroying cardboard on purpose? Now, I've gotten a lot of comments about this, and I really appreciate the engagement. I've had great conversations. I want to clarify, because I don't think it's completely coming across. I don't believe WOTC Hasbro is trying to destroy cardboard as far as their products go. I believe what they're trying to do is inverse their current ratio of like 75%. This is a theoretical number. I do not have actual numbers in front of me. I'm going off of the Blueprint 2.0. I'm going off of what you can see on Reddit and other financial actual blogs and reports that I showed in the last couple of days. So going off of all of that, my belief is it's roughly between 60 and 80% of all their money comes from cardboard still when it comes to Magic the Gathering. That number can be way off, but based off of everything I've read, based off of everything I've seen, I believe that that's pretty close, 60 to 80%. That means the remainder, right, the 40 to 20%, 20 to 40% is the online Magic the Gathering income. And it is my belief that over the next 20 years, and from what I've seen in Blueprint 2.0, which I put out in the last video, I actually believe in the next 5 years, they're trying to switch that. So they're trying to get cardboard, as far as their revenue, to be 20 to 40% of their business, and then their digital space be 60 to 80% of their revenue. So I believe they're just trying to switch it. How are they going to get this done? I'm not 100% sure. And again, putting out my perspectives and I'm putting out my belief, and based off of everything that I've seen and based off of my life experiences, that's what I'm thinking. And this is why. So we've talked about this, and many other channels have talked about this to an extreme amount, far beyond any kind of comprehension that I even have in Magic the Gathering. But their continued use of celebrities, their continued use of sports athletes, and all these Instagram, TikTok type of individual celebrities, what they're trying to do is to get an audience base that has no knowledge of cardboard to come into the world of cardboard and play their game. So I wanted to propose this to you, the community, and I'm really looking forward to some comments on this, because I spent the last 2 days with my free time going to different stores. Now, I wasn't able to get to all of them, so I did do a little bit of research here and bring up some things that you can see. So I went over to We Play Games. It was basically I was going to work in my lunch break. I do work in the community as my full-time job. And so this was right next to one of the places I was going to. And so I walked in there and I checked out what they do on a daily basis. They used to do tournaments. As you can see, their event calendar is completely blank. They don't do anything anymore, and they haven't done it since the pandemic, and they don't have any plans on starting it up again. This is a big store near my house. So this is the closest place that I would be able to play if they were actually operating. But they don't do anything anymore. They're just completely done. Ever since the pandemic, I talked to two of the one manager and one of the employees in the card section. So they have many different sections. They do video games, Dungeons and Dragons. They have a lot of board games and all this stuff, but they are basically strictly retail. They don't do any kind of events in the facility. So this is the closest place to my house, and this is still almost 10 minutes away. So I want to put that in your perspective, right? The idea of accessibility, convenience, So I don't know your situation. I don't know the city you're in, but I'm just describing my situation in Las Vegas and what I see and how I believe the idea of going digital makes a lot of sense. So when I was in there, I didn't see anybody under the age of 40. There was a lot of big kids in there, just like me. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I thought that was interesting. They were buying things and taking them home. There was a couple of people buying statues, some anime. I want to say they're anime type of figurines, and they're going to build them at the house type of thing. There was a couple of people in the board game area. But again, nobody's playing there. Everybody's buying and leaving. This store had a huge selection of singles as far as Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon go. They had a lot of boosters. They had a lot of sealed boxes and even had prices for sealed cases. I believe that this store had a very large selection to choose from. And all their prices were well above anything you could get on eBay, especially on TCG Player. Way above anything on TCG. So this place, I walked in, I looked at the prices, I asked a couple questions. And I was like, this is obviously a place I don't ever want to go back to because they have overhead. And it's clearly stated that they have overhead in their prices. And so I have no interest in doing any of that. So anyways, that was my first experience. I then went over to Power 9 Gaming. Now this place, Power 9 Games, this place blew my mind. Okay, I'm going to be completely transparent, completely honest. I'm going to try, if I can ever do it, I'm going to try to get out there and actually play a game. Anything. I don't care what it is. It could be Star Wars. It could be, they have, I want to say 50 tables, right? The whole store is basically just game tables and just the perimeter wall has stuff on it. But so I was talking to them in there and I was asking them, how many new players do you guys get every day, every week? How many events you got? And they're the ones that told me about their event schedule. And I was like, wow, you guys do something every day. This is really cool. And I asked how many new players did they get? And they said they get a few every week. I said, well, I would be one of those. I would be like this new player that I just want to come in and is there somebody that can teach me how to play with all these events? And they're like, they said the commander group, there's a lot of nice people in the commander group, and they hesitated and they had a weird feeling. Now, look, I am not a subject matter expert in Magic the Gathering, trading card games, collectible card games. I'm not. But I've spent my career dealing with human beings through stressful situations. I've done a lot and I've seen a lot when it comes to analyzing human behavior through interviews and very tense, stressful, confrontational situations. It was clear, crystal clear, from the body language and this person's verbal language, there's not a lot of people that are willing to just take time out of their day and teach you. They said that, but basically the commanders are the nicest group. And so like that would be my best option. None of the employees, none of the managers offered to teach me. And it was a very strange response, and the way that they responded was strange. And so I'm asking you as the community, are there a lot of people that teach new players? Wherever you go to play, is it something that people take time out of their day to teach? Is there, how do you, if you know anybody that joined maybe into Magic the Gathering recently, how did they join and how did they learn how to play all the different formats? Do they just stick with standard? Did they do commander? Did they do a million of the other things that I don't even know about? Like, how did they learn? Because the whole premise of my idea is that it's easier to convert people that have nothing to do with Magic, right? So all the new people that Hasbro wants to bring into this community, they want to bring in all these new people. They want to bring in the future of their business. Who are those people? These are the people that follow celebrities on Twitter and TikTok. These are the people that follow Post Malone, that follow Steve Aoki, that follow all these people that have nothing to do with Magic, that follow all these people that have a digital online presence that have nothing to do with cardboard. Yes, they do collect cardboard. Yes, Post Malone is involved in Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering, and they do cardboard. But the audience they're reaching out to is through a digital space, through TikTok, through Twitter, through Instagram. And so my whole belief system is kind of centered around how do you get all these new people who are stuck to their phones, have a very short attention span, and don't really have the time to, or don't have the resources to travel to all these game stores. So like Power 9 Games, that's a 25-minute, almost 30-minute drive for me, right? And that's the closest one that I can get to. There's another place called Dark Side Games. They do events. I think it's every Saturday they do Magic the Gathering. Nope, Thursday night. They have, so a Thursday night, they have a, what is this? On the 11th, so that's Saturday. So it looks like they have a Thursday, Saturday situation for Magic the Gathering. And look, I'm genuinely curious. This is primarily your community more than it is mine. I'm just re-entering. I'm a COVID-born collector. I'm coming back into the hobby, and I'm very curious how new blood gets into this game. And does the new blood want to spend time with cardboard, or do they want to spend time in their pajamas, if they're old enough, drinking a beer, chilling at their house, playing online, where they can have Arena up on half of their screen. Now on the other half of the screen, they got their TikTok, Instagram, YouTubes, whatever, right? Because for me, when I get off work and I have a family, and I'm almost 40, okay? So I know I'm not Hasbro's target demographics for the future of their company. They're looking at how to get teenagers, 20-year-olds addicted, right? It's like cigarettes in your freaking convenience store, right? It's like cigarette ads on bus benches. There's a reason they banned those things, because cigarette companies were targeting the youth, because if you get them addicted, you have a customer for life, right? Even though their life is much shorter, blah, blah, blah. It's the same kind of concept. This company is trying to get the new blood addicted and into their system, into their revenue stream as soon as possible, and then keep them for as long as possible, right? And so how does the new blood get in? And I'm genuinely curious. Okay, now I'm going to show you something. Is camera on? Camera should be on. Camera is not on. Why is the camera not on? Hold on. Is it on? Okay, camera's on. So this is the box we're going to open for Michael Baker. So when I went into that store today, I didn't buy all this today, but when I went into that store today, there was no straightforward starter deck. There's no starter, right? There's a lot of products, and you have commander decks and things like that, which I think would be considered a starter deck, but there's nothing clearly marketed to a new player. I think Jumpstart is the new player starter deck, but it's not marketed as such, like in the store. So I'm walking around and you see set boosters, you see these little draft packs, you got singles, so you got like rows of singles, and there's just so much. There is so much product. There is so many options where you're looking at a wall and if you're new, I'm new. Okay, look, I used to play when I was in high school. I didn't play. I still haven't played again in real life, but I started getting more involved in the community during COVID. I started playing Magic the Gathering online during COVID. I stopped about 4 months ago for family reasons. But there's just so much stuff. There's so many freaking things. Where does a new player start? Right? Where is the step 1, step 2, step 3, and how is it communicated to the new player? Because when I walked in there, first of all, the employees and the managers of that car at Power 9 and at Wii Games and at Darkside, they're not extremely sociable people. They're like, hey, how you doing? Let me know if you have any questions. And then you start talking to them, and it's like they're standoffish. They don't have a lot of communication background or something. There's something missing. There's that charismatic, attention grabbing, hey, let me help you out there. Come on. The used car salesman is not in these people. I don't know how else to say it. So as a new person, how do you get started? I believe you need somebody to hold your hand through and walk you through this process and get you involved in the community. I don't believe that Magic the Gathering in the cardboard sense of the situation is set up for somebody off the street, zero experience, zero friends in the community, to just walk in and start playing Magic. Very much, I don't believe any of that. And I actually believe that that's the truth with a lot of tabletop games. I was in there, I was looking at like Marvels, there's a Star Wars game that looks, God, those miniatures look amazing. Warhammer. You walk into one of those game stores, if there's not somebody there that's a teacher mentality type of person, they're going to be just like I was, and they're just going to walk out. They're going to ask a couple questions. If there's no kind of follow-up, if there's no kind of like, hey, come on, let me walk you over here. Let me show you how to do this. Oh, you're curious about learning how to play? Here you go. Come over here real quick. I'll teach you. You know, what do you want to learn? Do you want to learn this? Like, if there's not that teacher mentality in these game stores to get the person to say that used car salesman type of feeling, if there's not that person there, the person's not going to stay. They're going to ask a couple questions. If there's no kind of follow-up, no kind of engagement, they're going to leave. And if that's a negative experience for them, are they going to come back? No. They're going to be like, well, that didn't really hold my attention. Maybe I'll try video games. Maybe I'll try this. Maybe I'll try that. Whatever it is. And so I believe that the cardboard world as it is now isn't really set up for the person off the street. Right? So how do you get that new blood in? I believe the only way to do it through cardboard is by word of mouth, by a friend bringing somebody in, by a father or a mother bringing in a child type of thing. But you're not just blind recruiting. Like, somebody's not just walking by a game store like, oh, let me pop in here and learn how to play Magic the Gathering and then start doing it. Another thing. I started last night to open a couple things, and I started pulling out singles. So I don't know all the rules to Commander. I don't know all the requirements of Standard, like how far back you go in Standard. Is it 1 year's worth of products? Is it 2 years? Whatever it is. But I started going through and reading cards and separating the cards that I really liked or that I think would be good cards. Because again, I'm not playing yet, right? Not on cardboard. There are so many variables to build a deck. There's just endless. There's absolutely endless. And so when you're new, it could be very intimidating. There's just so many variables. Do you want to build nothing but a blue deck? Do you want a counter deck? Do you want a human cleric deck? You know, like, and then there's just endless amounts of product. So for a new deck building person for cardboard, this is a nightmare. You know how much time this takes to just sort? Like, okay, I want to build a green and white human cleric deck. Okay, and then you have to like just the process of sorting. You're spending so much time doing this. And then I want you to think, is that something a new player, a large group of new players would rather do that or go on to Magic the Gathering Arena where you click 2 buttons and you can sort the entire deck by green and white. You can sort every single card in each separate thing. So like on Magic the Gathering Arena, do I have my passcode? It's been so long since I've logged in. Let's see. It's been a while since I've logged in. Magic the Gathering Arena. Was it on my desktop before? I don't even remember. Anyways, I'm gonna start getting this installed, and I'm gonna start going through this, and then I'll be right back. I'm gonna try to log in. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so this is Magic the Gathering Arena online. If you've never seen it before, they give you free cards every day. That's pretty cool. I haven't logged in months, so I don't know if this is just going to keep going. I have no idea. It's been such a long time. Okay, yeah. I'm sure there's been a couple seasons since I played. Okay, they give you, again, free cards, all that good stuff. Okay, so if you've never been a part of this or you've never seen this before, so you can go over to decks. You see decks up here on the top left. You can click on that. And it comes with, now when you start off, you have to go through like a tutorial process. The tutorial will actually teach you how to play Magic the Gathering. And it's an amazing quick, easy, intuitive, hold your hand process. So if you do not have friends in the community, you listen to Post Malone, you like his music, he puts out some tweets about how Magic the Gathering is amazing. What's easier for you to do? Go to your computer, log in, and type in Magic the Gathering and try to play this game online, or to try to find a local card store, try to figure out how to get there, and then try to find somebody who's willing to teach you what to do, and then spend all the money you need to buy the cardboard, and then put the, you got to get deck protectors too, right? And then you got to put together the deck, and then you got to sit down, and then they got to teach you. So you're talking about hours of your day and a lot of money out of your pocket. And it is my belief that a person who follows these celebrities, who gets the idea of, hey, I want to try out Magic the Gathering, like these icons and heroes that I love so much or whatever, they tweet about it. So I want to participate. It will be easier for them to come to Magic the Gathering. It'll be more accessible, especially in rough times, right? So everybody's going to start losing their job, right? In the economy, allegedly. What's going to be easier? Spending the money and the time and the resources to go to a physical location where nobody's there to teach them. And if you are, you're very lucky, because I'm in a decent sized mid to large city. And everywhere I go, nobody wants to take the time to teach. Nobody even offers. Nobody cares, right? So think about that, right? And then you got a person who's maybe anywhere between 9 and 19 years old, who maybe doesn't even have the confidence to be like, hey, can you teach me? Hey, I'm interested in this. Can you take the time out of your day to teach me how to play this? Maybe they're kind of standoffish, right? What if they're not that extrovert, that confident person in the store? They're going to walk out so fast. So it's easier to sit here. You can click on decks after you learn how to do everything, right? You get starter decks. These are all the decks you get after you pass the little tutorials and stuff. So you already have some kind of like grasp of what's going on. And then you can create your own decks. And so like you could filter it to whatever you want to do. Like let's say you want to play alchemy, historic, standard, brawl. You could do traditional. There's competitions in here where you get to play against other players in like a tournament setting. It's actually a very easy to learn system. And so let's say you want to play standard, right? And then all the cards you have and don't have that are eligible for standard. It shows you every single freaking card that is eligible for standard play. You don't have to like search through a million different long boxes of cards. You don't have to try to do research on the internet to find out which decks to build and then go onto eBay and then buy those singles and then get them shipped to you, and half of them get lost by the freaking post office, and then you have to buy some more. And it's the most ridiculous thing to try to build your own deck in freaking cardboard. And I know I'm probably exaggerating this. A lot of you are like, oh, it's not that hard. Oh, it's not that. You have to remove yourself. Right? It's easy to think it's not that big a deal when you're already in the cardboard community. But the purpose of my videos, the purpose of this information is to describe to you and provide you with the perspective of a new player. Somebody who has no cards to start with, no lands to start with, no anything. If you found out about Magic today, think about it. How would you get from where you are today at zero knowledge to the place you want to be, where maybe you actually currently are as a subject matter expert of Magic? Like, how do you get there? Like, do the steps. So you could do that, or you can just log in the middle of the night because you have a family and a full-time job and you don't have enough time to actually get to the stores before they close. And you could just relax, drink a beer, and play some Magic. Like, what do you think's easier, right? And if you're a young person and you don't even have a car and you don't even have a job and you don't have the money to pay for cardboard and deck protection and all this other stuff, what's easier? This? Or getting to a card shop and starting a whole new freaking hobby where it's not cheap. It's not cheap. You're buying draft pack boxes. You're buying sleeves. You're buying all, and then if you buy on eBay, you don't even know if you're getting real stuff. There's so many freaking knockoffs, so many problems with that. It's ridiculous. So it is my belief that it's easier to start your hobby right here, right? just right here. And so I believe WOTC is pushing their narrative, their belief system with the Blueprint 2.0 in getting celebrities, getting athletes, and getting people to adopt this process. Last thing I want to say about all of this is the amount of money that somebody spends on cardboard to get their deck started, to get their education started in Magic the Gathering, to begin the process is significant to the individual. And I believe the margin for Wizards of the Coast is high. So if let's just say you go into a Magic store and you spend $100 on a booster box, or let's just leave it there, $100 on a booster box. WOTC is getting what, $60 to $70 of that, $60 of that, maybe $10 for distribution. No, because Rudy says that the stores are getting it at about $80 now, right? $85, and they're only making like 10 to 15%. So let's say that distribution is selling it to them at 75, and so maybe distribution is buying it from WOTC at 65, and so let's say WOTC gets $65 for that. They're paying employees, R&D, supply chain, they're paying the printers, they're paying all of that. And so maybe out of that $65, what the net profit is, let's say it's 50% of that. Let's say it's $30, right? $30 on a booster. And on the arena, there's basically none of those costs associated to the physical product with arena. There's still R&D, you're still paying IT, obviously, you're still paying to maintain the servers, you're still paying to update the cards and continue putting together tournaments and so there's still some human cost to it, but there's none of that other stuff, and you don't have to charge $100 to the end consumer. I believe they're trying to go the microtransaction way of things. The same thing with cell phone video games, the same thing with like drop boxes, loot boxes, all that other stuff. I believe they're trying to get that microtransactions going. And just like with League of Legends, when they do the microtransactions for different uniforms and different clothes for your favorite character or whatever, I don't think it's complicated. They see cost and liability at the lowest freaking possible point, being online, and getting microtransactions over a very long period of time is more profitable than getting somebody to buy a booster box a couple times a year. And I could be way off, but that is my presentation to you of what my current information is. And as I get more information, and as I get information from you, the community, the subject matter experts, I will continue to evolve my thesis, right? My perspective, with more information, with more perspectives provided to me in any way that I can get them. I use new information to obviously make better decisions. As of right now, based off of everything that I'm seeing from all different perspectives that I have access to, I believe that the end goal of Wizards of the Coast is to have 80% of their revenue come from microtransactions through Magic the Gathering Arena. And I'm speaking on specifically Magic the Gathering Arena. I believe it'll also go over to Monopoly and Transformers and other things, don't get me wrong, but staying hyper-focused on just Magic the Gathering, I believe they want 80% of their top-line revenue to come from microtransactions through Arena, and they want 20% of their top-line revenue to come through cardboard. I believe that's the goal of Blueprint 2.0. Anyways, that's what I've learned. That's my perspective. Please let me know what you think, and I will be conducting the box opening this weekend or tomorrow, Veterans Day. Take care, everybody. I hope you have a great night. Stay safe.